Subscribe and press the bell icon to enjoy more exciting and enlightening videos from Dheya.
My name is Anand Desai and I'm the founder of Dheya. I'm joined by my colleague Commander Naveen Badrinarayan and he is the Director Research as well as Engagement in Dheya. To give you a small brief of Dheya, we are a 15-year-old company. Till date, we have impacted more than 4.5 lakh students and we have helped them plan their careers. We are not career counselors. So, if there are those people who think that we are career counselors, we are not career counselors. Neither are we admission agents. So, we are not going to push you into some college by taking some brokerage in between. We are not any kind of a aptitude test walas. So, who take another small aptitude test and say, listen, this is something which you take up art, science, commerce. We are long term mentors. So we have today in our community more than almost 3,500 mentors who work with you on a long term basis to develop your child. A little different from career counseling because the old career counseling is little different from what we are talking about. Okay. Let me ask a few parents over here before we start off. The exams have got cancelled. How many people feel it's a good thing or a bad thing? Let me put a poll here. Oh, I have a lot of people say good thing. That's really, really, really very good thing. I'm telling you something. We are the only company which has been talking about, you know, helping the child know something good about it. Now I can understand there are some anxieties been created because of the exam cancelled, and we are trying to resolve this in today's session. We're going to do something which is very different. And while you go back today after the session, I'm sure you'll have a different perspective altogether. So, what we're going to do? So, let's understand till now, traditionally, how this entire career decision making used to happen. Okay, so let's go back, say maybe just 2 years back or 1 year back. Every parent would wait for number one, the marks that are going to come from the 10th standard. Then there's a parent who'll rush to either a career counselor nearby. There are people who rush to a aptitude wala and say, listen, take the aptitude test of my child and tell me art, science or commerce. There are people who will rush to an admission agent and say, mere bete ka admission kara do yaar. And there are people who will say, okay, listen, we'll go to a seminar in which there'll be a big coaching class, making a presentation that if your child doesn't do IIT, he is of no use. Or if your child doesn't do NEET, she is of no use. Okay, now this is something which is happening in this market. This is 1 year back. Now, what has resulted in this is very interesting. Okay, and now let me explain this to you. We'll ask all the parents. When we all had to take a decision whether what we should take in our life, we said, okay, we made our own choice. Sometimes that we didn't even go and ask our parents. We said, what is the best thing that will give us good opportunities, and we took the decision. Limited, I would say, information and limited thought process, but we took the admission and we started going through the flow of whatever came in our way. Today, most of the parents have come into their careers in their work lives, when I say mostly by accident. There's no plan behind it. There's no plan. Very few people have the plan that, yeah, I have to join the army. So I'm going to prepare from 8th standard and I'm going to go and do it. Now, what happened is this entire scenario has changed since the exams have been cancelled. Now, no marks are a benchmark today. And I've been asking for the government of India to do this for a long time. Let's focus on the potential of the child. Have you ever asked yourself, what is my child capable of doing? Because till 10th standard, trust me, your child only knows one thing. What are the areas your child has to improve on? Your child has never ever seen what is good in him or her. So, because of which, what happened is the entire 10th standard till 10th standard, you only had one situation. The situation was like this, that the child will say, I can't do this, so let me take this. Why do people take arts? Because I hate doing mathematics. Why do I take commerce? because I don't want to get into arts. So it's more of deficit based thing, and it was very, very short term based only on the education path, unfortunately. Now, what has happened is because a complete focus on only choosing education has landed everybody today, and our estimates say that there are around 4.2 crore engineers sitting at home from 2011 doing nothing. It's unfortunate. Now, why? There's a big, big force on degrees, okay? Big, big force on degrees. And who made this force on degrees? Our time we said, if I get a degree, I'll get a job. But is it the same thing which is going to remain in future? We'll talk about it. The gap between what has been educated and what is actually required at workplace, I'm sure you know it is widened so much that at times people say, "ये degree लेके फायदा क्या है?" Now, a typical career counselor has no more. I am taking this big thing that no more vision than either art, science, commerce, engineering, architecture, law. That's it. That's it. So, a typical career counselor will say, "Where is the best admission going? Let me push that child here." If I see the aptitude thing, that okay, the child is good at mathematics, it's some numbers, let him put him to engineering. Now, pushing that child to those places has landed into a situation where we have all got into a situation where we say if degree nahi mila to kuch bhi nahi mila. And it's unfortunate that today, we have all only focused on we got to invest a huge amount of money, time and effort only into degrees, and I'm not so sure whether they'll yield some outcome or they'll yield some return on your investment. Now, in between, some time back when I saw there was the Gravitas Plus report by Palki Sharma Upadhyay on Beyond, and she said, you know what, 10% of income goes into tuitions of every household. It's a failure of the education system. And to just get those marks, parents are pumping in 10% of their income for 18 years of their life, starting from the first standard. Just imagine the situation. Now you're pumping in so much money, so much time, your effort, your energy, your emotions for 18 years of your life. What should be the outcome? Let me open this forum to some parents who want to talk about it. Okay. So what I'll do is raise your hand and say, I'll open this forum to at least a couple of parents. Let me ask them. You're investing a huge amount of time, money, effort, emotions, expectations. What do you expect at the end of this education of 18 years? Who wants to talk?
Sandeep wants to talk. Sandeep can be unmuted. You'll allow him to unmute. Sandeep.
Yes, fine.
My son is in class 10th, moving to class 11th. He is confused that whether he will take biology or he will take mathematics. He is quite fair in mathematics, also in biology. So he is confused that which subject is to choose and what not, because there is no exam in this year. So he is totally
Absolutely.
confused.
I'll help you out, Mrs. Sanjeev. Just hold on. Okay, now what I'm going to talk about is something really different. Now, there was a concern of one Mrs. Sanjeev who said that, okay, my child is not confused between biology and mathematics. Can I ask any of your parents, to put it in the chat window, are you using the five subjects that were given to you in your 10th standard? Are you using them? How many would say yes, no? I'm taking on a very different concept. Today, because of
Anand,
we
before
see,
we even ask this, let me just see. My name is Naveen, and Anand, that I'm just intervening here. I would like to, request all of you one thing. Since you're sitting in this session, my first request is let us all have a very open-minded view to this topic. If we are going to be close-minded and say हमने जो किया है वही हमारे बच्चे करेंगे, then I think we are not in the right place. We got to be open-minded. We're going to tweak certain mindsets. We all have a lot of mindsets. All of us have been brought up in a very different generation. We grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And in the 70s and 80s, the thinking was very different. We all grew up in that mindset. But when we are talking about our youth, the mindset has to be checked, has to be tweaked. So my request is open your minds and let's think differently. Whatever
yeah,
Anand is
yeah.
posing to you, let us think a little bit differently and try to answer this question with a very honest, hand on heart kind of a thing. Don't give some vague thing that, I studied math, so I'm using my math somewhere. I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm postgraduate mechanical engineer, I topped my course. But you know what? I don't think I have used my partial differential equation or integration anywhere in my life in the last 25 years when I served the Indian Navy on board a submarine. And I've got some submariners out here in this audience. And I can challenge that whatever I studied in the books in my engineering, I have not used on board. Whereas what I learned on board on a submarine with my own hands, I have used it. So there is a big problem when we
Okay.
study. So therefore, just open your minds, put your hand to your heart, and answer whatever you feel is right.
Right. Let's go back to this thing, entire thing. This is the first time exams have been cancelled, and you have to take a decision based on your child's capabilities. I understand that you can only feel that academics is the only capability. We, like Mr. Sandeep was talking about, that only biology and mathematics is the only capability he could see. But let's go beyond it. I think our kids are wonderful. This is the first time you might have to take a decision based on your child's capability. And that is something very interesting. There is no, at least, no aptitude wala who will tell you for sure that your child is going to succeed in life with this kind of a aptitude test. There is no counselor who will tell you anything beyond education. Now, we need to look at something very, very differently, and let's try looking at this in a very different fashion. The generation which we are into as parents were 70s, 80s, 90s, and at times 2000s also, who grew up, built their careers. But this generation is completely different. Impatient, like Ishita Kurana, who just came and said, "Give me the solution. I don't want anything. Come on, give me the solution." Okay, now the question over here is solution is, what is the solution all about? How many people really feel that they know their child beyond marks, beyond their capabilities? Now, this is very, very important, which I want to ask you. Just put it in the chat window that I know my child's strengths 100%. I'm talking about strengths, okay? And I know many parents only focus on weaknesses. Ashwini ma'am says, yes, I know my child's strengths. Okay, I know 40%. That's really honest and I appreciate it. Okay, my child is a gadget guru. That is only one strength you know. Okay, how many know about your personality strengths? For example, you have seen your child right from your childhood. And when you've seen your child right from the childhood, your child has built some strengths. We got totally focused on education and academics, and we said, okay, no, 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 let's focus on academics and take a decision based on academics. But the core individual, which your child is a fantastic child, most of the parents have said, oh, no, no, wo to baad mein dekhenge. He may be good at drawing, she may be good at music, she may be good at physical activities, she may be good at, practical things, she may be good at academics and research, but we have forgotten that. Now, while we do this particular exercise of knowing your child, what is more important is give the possibilities. Give the possibilities. What can your child do using these strengths? Now, there are three parts in it, okay? When I say three parts in it, so I'm going to give the solution right away. The first part is based on the personality. Let's understand. Is there anybody's child really very restless, cannot sit at one place? Yeah, Ashwini Madre says, yes, my child is restless. Madre ma'am, do you think it's a strength or a weakness? Restlessness is a strength or a weakness? Ah, Madre ma'am says, yes, both. You're a very good parent, ma'am. Let me tell you this now. See, what happens is many people who feel the child is restless will say, उसको बैठक ही नहीं है यार काम ही नहीं पढ़ता ही नहीं है and they will have all sorts of complaints. But there are other side of it. When I see people, if I have to align this particular small personality strength of restlessness to the world of work, okay, I will never ever ask this child to get into software engineering because where that child has to sit for 9 hours a day. Otherwise, I would have destroyed the child's career for life. Because remember, whatever you're investing in your education, whatever, including your emotions, your time, your effort, your child's time, the money, is all for getting the next 40 years of work life right. Okay, do you all agree to it? Because you want the next 40 years of work life, your child should be happy, child should be successful, child should be doing well, child should be enjoying the work, should be doing some meaningful work. Now, most people forget that 40 साल काम करना है. They only focus on saying that base ban gaya to hai. But unfortunately today, in this today's situation, none of the degrees are really working. None of the degrees are really working. Because of which, what has happened is when degrees are not working, okay, no, there's no guarantee of either getting into a job or being happy into a job or performing into a job using a degree. It's time now, as parents, we need to look at what is that 40 years there where I can contribute at this moment as a parent to make my child really successful. Now, this is a different concept. This is a complete different concept. Don't go only on the education part, but go on what my child can be in the world of work. Let's make some questions. What type of work he'll be happy? If the child is creative, can the child do creative work? There are many fields where there is requirement of creative work, right from town planning to graphic design to animation to UI UX design. There are too many fields, including 3D printing, which is coming in a very big way. The second area is because parents are focused on degrees, by the time the kid has finished degrees, the whole world of work is changed. And if the whole world of work is changed, the degrees are becoming redundant. Now, whether it is in India or whether it's abroad, all these degrees are becoming redundant because at the speed at which the world of work is changing, you won't even imagine. So then how do I handle this particular situation? The solution is only in three areas. Very simple three areas. Number one, we need to understand the child and give the child a destination based on possibilities. When I say destination based on possibilities, okay, my child is, say, a restless kid. I would give him a destination where he needs to travel through the world. Number one. Okay, let's look at a field which he needs. I can make him a geologist because he requires to travel through the world. And I'll ask him to become an entrepreneur in geology. Now, when this is a kind of a thing which I'm going to say, I'm going to answer three questions. Question number one, I'm going to answer the question which is called as what type of work my child will be really happy doing, what field that will be growing, which my child has to get ready for, prepare for right now onwards. And number three, how will he earn? Once I said this particular thing, today onwards, whether it's 10th standard or 12th standard, your child should start developing without waiting for a teacher to teach. Now, this is very, very critical, okay? We went through a kind of situation where we waited for the teachers to teach. But the days have gone. We need to help the child have some kind of a skill by which your child starts learning beyond subjects, Mr. Sandeep, beyond subjects. You are forcing those subjects on your child. If your child says that I want to be a nanoscientist and the child internalize it because today children are very smart. The day your child gets that goal that I want to be a nanoscientist and I want to serve the society, you have won. The child will figure out how to be the best one. And we will only be at a support level. But if we tell them, नहीं बेटा तुमको साइंस ही करना है, तुमको यही करना है, तुम्हें यही करना है, your child is going to rebel. But child also knows कि डिग्री का कुछ फायदा नहीं है. So the solution number one, understand your child. Number one, deeply. We in Dheya actually spend a lot of time actually helping you understand your child using a lot of tools, lot of psychometrics, lot of questionnaires and all that. That is the first thing. Then, based on what is good in your child, let's look at what your child can be in the world of work. Because your child is going to work for 40 years. Let's first focus there. When I say let's first focus there, let's focus on how well the child is going to live his life in a particular work format. The reason why I'm going to do it is today we also know as parents that we work for almost 16 hours a day, knowingly, unknowingly. As soon as you wake up, you're thinking about work. Before you sleep, you're thinking about work. So almost 16 hours, active, including passive, you're working. Now, in that workplace, if you're not happy, you're going to disturb your family, you're going to disturb your health, you're going to disturb your well-being, you disturb your relationship, and you're also not going to get your money and lifestyle. So the most important thing at this stage is to help your child make right choices by helping the child to know his or her strengths, saying that you have this strengths and I see this possibility of you becoming a great so-and-so. Now, when I say the word great, why do I want to tell the child that you can be a great person? The reason is very, very important. Very important. You are going to invest 18 years or 19 years. Your child is going to spend 18, 19 years in education. You are going to invest the money. Do you really want no returns after with it only a degree, with it just a piece of paper? We have 6 years to develop your child. Now, this is not about just taking up education and degrees. We can do a lot of interventions that will help your child be a better person, well equipped even before your child passes out from education. In some cases, education is important. For example, in knowledge oriented areas like research, yes, education is important. But if your child wants to be a designer, your child might take up education. But the more important is to become the most skillful designer. Only then your child will survive. Now, these are very straightforward, blunt statements I'm making. So, what are you doing to develop your child in the next 6 years? Or you're just leaving it to the college saying that usko jo ka padhana hai to padhao? Are you going to do that, be very careful because times are changing. During our time, we got a degree, we got a job. We had a little bit of a guarantee that yes, if you have a degree, you will get a job. But there is this guarantee which is gone. So let's take charge of our child's life and help the child. Now, children are very smart. They're very, very interesting people. Let me tell you, they're very impatient. Okay. They are not going to listen to you and say, because of which I am going to do this. Now, the problem is if you still focus on education and PCM, PCB, biology, mathematics, trust me, you're going to land up into a situation where you will only teach this theoretical knowledge but don't get anything out of it. I'm telling you, today there are 4.2 crore engineers with lot of theoretical knowledge. They all passed engineering and got a degree. So please do not get into that trap. This trap has been put on by a lot of education institutes, tuition classes. As a parent, your job is to make your child capable to live his or her life in a very beautiful way. Is that not your duty? It is your duty. So, since you know education, so you're telling your child to be in education. That's very funny. Ask your child what you want to be, where in which area you want to flourish, in which area you want to contribute. Okay, your child will be much happier when you align his or her strengths to be somebody in the world of work where the child can contribute. When you do this particular exercise, it is a different exercise altogether. Second thing, it's not a short-term exercise कि मैंने एक बार PCM decide कर लिया तो उसका career बन गया. Career will begin only after education. And most of the chances is, most of the kids start their education by scratching their head like this. अभी क्या करें यार डिग्री तो मिल गई. Don't let this thing happen to you because these kids only bounce from here and there. They just jump from one place to another place trying to figure out what they want to do in their lives. And that's a very sad situation which has happened today. Second thing, how many people know that the jobs in India are on a decline? And the chances may be after 7 years from now, when your child actually takes up a postgraduate degree, the word called job may not be there, but the word called work will be there. Your child might be required to do self-employment based work. Are you ready? Are you getting your child ready to actually excel in that? Or are you saying that, okay, degree de de, kaam ho gaya. PCM le liya, kaam ho gaya. Don't get into it. There is a big challenge which is happening at this stage. So during this transition, let's help our children become more capable. And that is what is this whole thing all about. Okay. Now, what is happening is due to this, children, because they don't have the focus in education, they will spend time in playing games, they'll spend time in, doing something which is not productive. But let's say a scenario. There's a kid, okay, who's very restless, very people oriented. They love talking to people and a typical people's person. I say I help the child define a career. I said, one day I want you to be a TV actor, but with your own channel on YouTube. Let's say this, okay? Do I need to wait for the degrees to finish and tell the child? You will start developing the child today onwards because that is the case. You need to have a mentor, and this mentor will nurture automatically the strength of the child and build the child's strength. For example, if your child is very communicative and she wants to be a TV anchor on a YouTube channel, great. Start building it today. Start giving skills, start giving internships, start giving projects, start giving every possible avenue so that your child develops into the world's anchor on YouTube. Now, when I say world's best, because they have time of 6 years. And most parents waste this time by just outsourcing this particular activity to schools or colleges. They don't even bother that what this child can develop into. Now, what happens is this 6 years don't come again. After 6 years, your child gets into work and there's no development after that. We all went through it. Once we joined work, there was no development except in some training programs we attended in school and colleges. But here, we have got a beautiful opportunity. The opportunity is like this. First, know your child's strengths. Define what your child wants to be by using the strengths. And let's create a career path. In that career path, let's help this person acquire skills, competencies, knowledge, and a lot of education has to be given in terms of career because there are a lot of information being given on art, science, commerce, physics, chemistry, mathematics, but nobody's talking careers. We are the only company who's saying we have a career-oriented program, which is called Career Labs, where we educate people on careers. Now, very simple. Once the career path is defined, we need to build a development path for your child to achieve that particular development path. It is not a kind of a thing where, okay, have defined it. So मैंने उसे कॉलेज में छोड़ दिया. Now while we do this, it's a long-term work. And when we do the long-term work, we have a mentor who walks along with it. Automatically, you will choose what education stream to take. But that time, the education stream taken will be with a purpose and not just because my child is good in physics, so I'll take up physics. The child will exactly know that since I want to be a nanoscientist, that's why I'm taking physics. Or I want to be an astrophysicist sitting in NASA, that's why I'm taking, this particular subject. And once the child internalizes that I want to be a, astrophysicist, and that's why I have to learn, you don't need to push your child. Your child will stop playing all the games. You'll stop wasting time because the ambition is already filled into the child. We have sown a seed of greatness and excellence in the child's mind. And that is the way we need to do it. Going through the traditional aptitude test, career counseling will not work here. We need to give a purpose for the children why they are studying, what they are studying. Automatically, they will take charge of their life. And it's a dream situation where children take charge of their life and say, I want to become somebody, that's why I'm studying. I want to become this thing, so I'm going for internships. I want to become so and so, that's why I'm working with a startup. I want to become something, that's why I'm learning on my own. I'm reading these books because I want to do this. I'm browsing these channels because I want to do this. Is it a dream kind of a situation when your child takes charge of life? Can I have some chat box responses, please?
Anand, I think they want you to repeat the question. The question is that if your child starts taking charge of his or her own life by self learning, by self developing, by browsing channels, by knowing exactly what they want to do, by being focused, how would it be? How would you like it if your child is going to self develop, self learn? You don't have to intervene at all. They are excited about what they are doing.
Mr. Vittal says it will be a bliss. Yeah, it will be great. Now, seriously, okay, to do this, let's put some effort into it. Let's put some effort. It's a very simple thing. Very simple thing. Okay, we have been talking about your nature. Every child has a wonderful nature, wonderful nature. If we are able to align, which is possible using a lot of scientific techniques which we have developed, align this child to what the child wants to be in the world of work and introduce some greatness. When I say greatness, something very, very important. Okay, when I say something very important, the greatness means I'll explain this to you. When we talk to a child, we tell them, listen, you are just 15 years old. You have at least 25 to 30 years of energetic life with you. You have wonderful parents who are willing to support you to build your career. You have good opportunities and you also have great, I would say, potential to be whatever you want to be. Just get focused on one particular goal and start walking towards it. During this time, we as mentors will walk along with you. Don't you think it's going to be a good situation where we are not going to let you fall, but together let's build a great life. When we tell this, there's an assurance for the child to think that, okay, there's a mentor who's going to walk along with. That's something great. The second part in this entire situation is, okay, here you're going beyond academics to develop the child because academics will only give you a degree and there's with no guarantee of support and doing anything. Now we can set numerous goals. Why not? But all these goals should be aligned to the child's strengths. And this alignment is a little bit of a tedious one. Okay. At times, you have to discuss a lot, work with your child and get the alignment. The child sees possibilities because what is going to happen is many parents don't even understand the world of work is changing. For example, if I take the word called biophotonics, how many parents would know the future is going to be in biophotonics? How many parents would know that there is synthetic biology which is coming in? How many parents will know the traditional construction industry will go and a 3D printing industry which will do the construction in future? Many people don't know about it. How many people know that sensing technologies will rule the agriculture? Many people don't know. So what happens is, unfortunately, all the parents will push their children into education. And this education, believe me, to change a small curriculum in education, it takes 8 to 10 years. Till the time the world of work is changed completely. Do you really want to take a risk? Keep educating. So we are not against education. What we are saying is keep educating your child. But while you educate your child, get your child to develop on his or her own with a goal in mind. And this goal giving at times parent doesn't work. Ghar ki murgi dal barabar. You need a mentor who will say, listen, Your child has this strengths. And when you talk to your child, the child says, I have a dream to be somebody. When we introduce a dream, the child says, now onwards, every day I'm going to work towards it. Every minute I will work towards it. Every second I'll work towards it. And when you get this motivation aligned, you have won the battle. Trust me. You're not going to wait for your child or push your child to study again and again. Now, there's a very interesting question. Mr. Pratiti Chakravarti says, what is the difference between goal and focus? Fantastic. Now, you need to focus on a goal. It's as simple as that. Now, many kids are so good today. I can tell you because I've been interacting with kids. They have tremendous potential. Okay, tremendous potential. Where the child says, "Okay, I know this." Now, the minute the child, because of the maturity and the understanding and the access to information, decides what they want to be, our job is to get the energy channelized towards that particular possibility. You can set goals in between. Say that this is your first goal, this is your second goal, your third goal. You can create backups for it. You can create a alternative path for it. But all this put together, your child should know, where am I heading in my life? If the child doesn't know where they are heading, whatever you train on, whatever you educate on is purposeless. Just imagine spending 7 years of higher education and few lakhs just for a job in which you're going to get 2 weekends and relax every week. Or do you want to give a purpose to your child? Listen, I want you to one day change the way things are happening in life. Okay. Now, how can we choose a goal or a dream? Mr. Ujwal, one of the best thing is to know your child. Very simple. Your child has a nature. Child has aspirations. Child has dreams. Child has everything. What we need to do is want to work with your child. Give them the possibilities. Let the child explore those possibilities. Once the child explores those possibilities, it becomes a nice and a beautiful thing. Saying that I have 20 options in front of me. Within this 20 options, I have chosen this. I want to be an entrepreneur. For example, I want to be an entrepreneur in the field of, say, education, and I want to change the way education is done. And I'm going to be a people oriented person. So you'll see me all over the place. Now, once I set this particular possibility in the child's mind and tell him that it's possible, you can be the world's greatest education entrepreneur, edupreneur, I would call it as. That day, the child automatically will start putting the energy into that. But somebody has to tell with a lot of authority and with a lot of data, which will convince the child that you can be one. And if we can even convince the child that you can, build a company bigger than Google, I'm sure your child will start moving in that direction. Right? So that is how this entire thing is all about.
Anand, there's an interesting question that my child wants to be a YouTuber, but how can we let him get into it without finishing basic education? We aren't sure the future of a desire that my son has can fetch him a living.
Lovely, 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 lovely. This is a real life situation. Okay, where the child wants to be somebody in the future world, the parent is saying, I have to make your child in a formal education. Typical gap between the parent and child. Appreciated. Mr. Aryan, don't worry. Okay, this is a situation almost with all the parents today. The parents are still in that thing that, oh, formal education is important, and the child says, no, no, the futuristic, I want to be a YouTuber. Great. Now, what if I actually collaborate it and say, since your child is good at this, let's start giving him skills to be a greatest YouTuber in the world. It doesn't require qualifications. It requires only your child's focus. Second, we also attach some people who'll say they already get great YouTubers who will work with your child to make him YouTubers. So initially he will do some informal internships, informal connections. The child will do some work. Great. While I tell him that, listen, to be a greatest YouTuber, you can either choose to become a greatest, say, video editor. And when you become a video editor, irrespective whether your YouTube channel works or not, you have a formal education of becoming a video editor. And because of the video editing skill you have, whether you do your YouTubing or you don't do your YouTubing, your livelihood thing will taken care of. But while doing this, why don't you become the world's best video editor? And maybe tomorrow work with the topmost directors of India or in the world, in Hollywood. Why not? Okay. Now, when this particular kind of a situation where there's a gap, alignment of the child's ambitions vis-a-vis your say expectations is a very, very critical thing because you are going to invest into your child. Okay. Where we have to take a middle path and where your anxieties and your tensions also are taken care of. And that's the role our mentors play. Now, that was a very interesting question where I said, what if the mentor gives a wrong dream? Now, listen, the mentor will never give a wrong dream. The reason is the dream is seen by the child and not introduced or pushed into their mind, saying that, beta, tumhe ye karna hai. There will be five, six possibilities at times. For example, very recently I took up a case of an industrialist and I said, this girl, I said, you have to take over your father's business, but your father is into construction. And I'm not so sure whether you want to get into construction. Your mother is into spas and your ambition is into creative areas. Now let's look at possibilities where you take over the business, you run the businesses, also do what your thing is. So we'll sit down on 15 possibilities where the child says, I will now explore to decide what I want to be in my life. I said, whatever you want to be in your life, do anything excepting being mediocre. Because mediocrity has been set into our education system right from day zero. 35% is the passing mark. Is it not mediocrity? Because of which every kid today feels, okay, 35% ले लिया तो काम हो गया. So even a road is not done properly. And this is a situation in India. So how can we build excellence in the child? So we say, I told her, you take up design and I want you to become the world's greatest smart city designer. You're into construction, your father is into construction, great, become one. And the day we gave that possibility to that girl, the girl said, yes, this is my dream to create smart cities. Now tell me, this girl has opportunities to become a smart city. She's just 15 years. And let's say in the next 10 years, smart cities become the in thing in from 100 cities, we go to 200 cities and we make smart villages. Will that girl be anyway having less opportunities? She'll be having huge number of opportunities to get there. And that is what we are talking about. World is changing. So you need to align your child's energy into that changing world. At times, many parents don't even know what is changing. And that's a real sad thing. I recently met a parent who said, मेरे बच्चे को मैं CA बनाना चाहता हूँ. Now, I'll give you a very interesting situation of a CA. Nothing against people who are CAs over here. They are established and they are working with their own client. Let's say there are hardly 1,000, 2,000 CAs getting created, where for which 18, 19 lakhs are preparing. They take up articleship and they work with accountants. 10 years from now, do you think accountancy will be automated or will be done by clerical staff? 100% they will be automated. And if 100% they will be automated, what happens to those people who don't become CAs? They spend their entire life doing accountancy and then they come to know that it's automated. A very recent change which has happened in some very interesting thing. Many parents said, engineering mein bhejo. And unfortunately or fortunately, in today, every engineering college has an automobile engineering wing. And this automobile engineering wing has still the old IC engines been taught. 10 years from now, how many people will be driving IC engines and how many people will be driving electrical vehicles? 99% the chances are there'll be more electrical vehicles. Now, frankly, yes, even cooking will get automated. It's already there. In Bangalore, I saw a person who had complete automation in cooking. Okay. Now comes the situation where really CA will be automated. Almost 80% of the CA's work today is automated. That's frankly because I'm running a company, that's why I can tell you this. Right. So coming back to this entire thing, I'm going to only tell you to do three things. Naveen, can you put those three solutions? Number one, choose a long-term support system that will support you in deciding your child's career because it's too dynamic. Too many changes are happening. Go beyond degrees, go beyond education, develop your child becoming a great person. Number one. Number two, give your child awareness of building a future opportunities because see, your careers are done, but your child's career has begun. By the time your child becomes a graduate, the world has changed. So we need to help the child learn the skill of learning, prepare for the future much earlier. That is the second part. And third part, get a mentor who understands your child and aligns all this thing in one direction. This is something which you need to do. Very simple. Okay. And today we at Dheya are doing nothing but this. Now, when I started, I said, I'm not a career counselor. I'm not an aptitude fellow who will tell you art, science, commerce with a limited knowledge that mere bachche ko PCM acha lagta hai. I'm not into that. I'm into helping the child become a great person. Now, let me tell you, in this country, if you really want to, do something great in this world, trust me, you want to do something great in this world, especially your one child wants to do something great, remember the first thing. Nature should be aligned to the work. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Swabhava and Swadharma. Jodna chahiye. Otherwise, what happens is this Swabhava is not aligned, will erupt somewhere. If your child is aggressive and we put him into the mildest ever job, it will erupt somewhere where he'll start fighting somewhere else. So let's not get into this particular thing. Let's do a very systematic job of planning your child's career, getting your child into a direction that child is going to be happy, not only happy, going to be successful also, and leave the mediocrity. Now we are there, and our entire effort for the last 15 years is with a dream to build a nation where 1.64 crore of our people have planned their careers and aligned themselves and building great lives. And that is something, a very big dream, will automatically transform this nation into a superpower. Today, majority of the people are just taking up degrees and not working. We are having a real issue of non-productive kids. Now, just imagine some child who does education of engineering and somebody says, okay, you're 22, now to MBA. The child becomes 24 and after 24 says, I'll work, and he gets a mediocre job. And after 5 years, he says, I don't want to work. You lost an opportunity of creating something wonderful in that kid. So the whole thing is, okay, plan based on long term. Okay, not on short term. Let's make our kids more productive, more happier, more producing in terms of wealth, and also making a happy lives. And that was what I request. Don't focus on short term just by degrees in arts, science, commerce. You will go to a career counselor and you will get that particular answer. Nothing beyond that. Nobody will tell you how can I help your child become a great person. Okay, and we will do it as Dheya. Okay. So what I would do is, we have some programs. Of course, we have a career mentoring for life program. Okay, where our mentor takes charge, and works with you as a partner throughout your life. We have a career literacy program. And now that is India's first career literacy program where we educate kids on different careers and how to choose careers. It's around first 3 months, another 2 months program, and plus 2 months. So that's approximately once a week. Okay, that's a program which is very big success to us. Okay, 300 kids are already undergoing this. When we started, within a 1.5 month, we got 300 kids who are doing this program. Okay, for career mentoring and life mentoring, yes, we have 3,000 senior mentors. And if I tell you the type of mentors we have an Everester, we have a person who's traveled around the world, a solo in a sailboat, we have a person who's dived the North Pole, okay, on a skydiving mission. We have a lot of armed forces guys. We have not only armed forces guys, we have CEOs. We are having the chief of Infosys HR, our mentor. We have the community of mentors who are all come together. We have a director of Amazon who's a mentor, and we have a dancer. Okay, the very famous choreographer of Bollywood who's our mentor. Okay, so we have varied careers. We have our DRDO scientists, space scientists. Okay, we have food scientists. Okay, we have agriculturists. We have even an expert driver who's the mentor. Now, the whole thing is, these are mentor as generic mentors who will help your child take a direction. That is the most important thing. Now, these are the programs we have. What I would suggest is, if you're interested, my team will be keen on calling you. The career literacy cost is, the basic is 2,000 and the advance is 6,000 rupees. So if you take it in together, it's 7,500, the career literacy cost. But then if you do a career planning, you get a lot of discounts for it. So it's a combined workshop. For example, when our person does a career mentoring program and we do a career pathing for the kid, okay, we expect the child to do some kind of a career research before we take a decision. Now, this career literacy program works as a helping kind of a thing in making decisions. Great. So I would like to refrain from answering questions about art, science, commerce, 11, 12. My suggestion is for all those parents, still get yourself to know your child, your strengths, and show your child great possibilities in future. Okay. Don't decide for your child. I have a small request. Let the child decide for himself. Our mentors will help your child decide for themselves. And when this happens, you will never be required to force your child. Deep Naik, I would request you. You will never be required to force your child. We will never let your child get into a mediocre, dirty career or a kind of a career which is regressive. We'll only focus on more progressive careers. Okay? We are experts in this. Leave that to us. Again, Mr. Chabra, please let your child be what your child can be. You're limiting your child already. Your child is unlimited with unlimited potential. I request you to allow your child to express himself and what he can be. This PCM is very limited. PCM, PCB, कितने choices है? Hardly any choices. But get your child to be somebody in the futuristic world when the child decides that I want to be the greatest, say maybe computer scientist in the world. Why not? But get your child to do that. Why are you forcing your child that I feel that he should have this particular thing? It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Your children today are completely different. They get bored too fast. Okay, Ria Chhabra is a child. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, Ria, tell your dad what I told you. Okay, I'm really sorry. Okay. Anyhow, let's conclude this program. Over to you, Naveen.
I think that was wonderful, Anand. A lot of insights for all of us here. I'm sure the parents should have taking a lot of inputs which they need to assimilate within themselves, because this is a complete mindset change that we have introduced. So definitely, I think you must think about it. And those of you who are interested, these programs of ours are available, and we are running it across the country. And we are doing many more programs in the future. We're going to see a lot of things coming from their side. So please be in touch. Please be connected with us. Even if you're not interested right now, please be in touch with us, and we'll keep you updated about what all is happening. And I'm sure that you will find something of interest for you here. You can
Okay,
connect
great.
with Pooja Salunke, Sheetal Dio. The team has already put their numbers here. You can get in touch with them, and we'll be very happy to help you and assist you, because our aim is to help every Indian parent in the country. So thank you so much for having attended our session, and this patient response. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.